Doug Fine, and I'm with Defined Performance Solutions. And I'm going to be having an interview with Ted Mclyman. And before we do that, I wanted to read his bio for you. Ted Mclyman is an entrepreneur, business owner, an author, and a speaker, and a trainer. He's a retired lieutenant colonel in the United States Marine Corps and an Ironman All World age group triathlete. Ted has over 30 years of award-winning experience helping individuals and organizations achieve peak performance. He has a BA in social relations from Colgate, an MA in public administration from Pepperdine University, and an MS in performance technology from Boise State University. He's the founder of the Apex Behavioral Solutions Group. He's been a financial advisor and an agent. He's been an economics instructor at the U.S. Naval Academy. He's been an aide to the Undersecretary of the Navy for Financial Management. He's been the head of the Marine Corps Training Management Division. He's been the commander of the United States Marine Corps Financial Management School. He's been an artillery officer, an executive officer, and been a member of the Battle Assessment Team in Operations Desert Storm. Ted has authored 3 books on behavioral finance, created Quick Scan Money Temperament Assessment. He's been a technical consultant to the Behind the Money program at Impact Television, and the director of behavioral assessment and advisory board member at the DreamSmartAcademy.com. So in just a second, we're going to be starting our interview with Ted Mclyman, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey everybody, my name is Doug Fine, and I have a company called Defined Performance Solutions. And I'm here today with Ted Mclyman, who is an expert in money matters, and I think he's an expert in the emotional connections or not that we have with money. He is a money expert, and he does all kinds of other things. So we're going to chat for about 10 minutes about his ideal clients, what he brings, what problems he solves. And Ted, thank you very much for being here with me.
Doug, it is a pleasure, always.
Awesome. So you ready to go rapid fire?
I am.
You know, this is just an aside, but one of the people I interviewed once, the first one I ever interviewed that got posted, I said, Josia, are you ready for the rapid fire? And she said, you know, I was a sniper in the Israeli Defense Force. I'm ready for your rapid fire. Like,
She
wow. Yeah, she won. Okay, so we're going to start with the first question. Ted, who do you work best with, and who would you say your ideal clients are?
Well, I've been working with people and money all my life in one form or another. And what I have found, I work with people who get it, and I help them get more. And I've learned that once you start a relationship with somebody, and it starts in milliseconds, you know if you've got a connection. So to make it very simple, I look for people who get it, who want to get more, and they're open-minded, have a sense of humor, and willing to explore some new concepts, because a lot of the things I do and a lot of the research I do is it's been around forever, but nobody's ever heard of it.
Right.
So fundamentally, I'm looking for people who want more.
Who want more. And I don't think you're just talking about money either, are you?
No. It's about life.
Who want more in life. Very good. Very cool. Ted, what is the problem that you help them solve, your ideal clients who already get it, but what kind of problems do you help them solve?
A little history. Again, I came out of the Marine Corps. When I first got into the Marine Corps, coming out of college as a second lieutenant, I was thrust into a situation of trying to fix performance problems. Mm-hmm. And we took it the standard way. You know, you do in the Marine Corps. Take them out and run them around a little bit, yell and scream at them. And I found out, that really wasn't working well.
Yeah, these are full-time employees, so to speak. They're full-time employees, and that's not going to work. Maybe boot camp, but full-time employees.
And the whole approach was reactive, not proactive. Mm-hmm. And once I got into it, I found that most of the problems we were facing were money related. Just good people making dumb decisions. And most of it was not intentional. It was they just did not know. They didn't know the technical parts of money, But more importantly, it became very obvious to me that there was an emotional context with money that nobody was dealing with. My academic background was money, economics, finance, human performance, and the like. I was trained that everybody gets it. You know, if I just give you enough information, you're going to figure it out. And when I found that that's not the case. Then a couple of years later, I had an opportunity to do a tour at the Naval Academy teaching economics.
Wow.
And there I found it takes smart people to really screw up money. and I was working with some of the brightest young people in the United States, and we were having a significant problem with mids in their money, that they were getting ahead of their skis, if you will. They were overspending what they were making. Now, you got to understand the context. In most cases, they were not paying for college. They didn't have a lot of issues, but we were having problems that our newly commissioned ensigns and second lieutenants were going into the fleet, and within sometimes 6 to 8 months after graduation, they had incredible debt. They were doing incredibly stupid things with money, and worst case scenarios, they were losing their commissions. So that started my, oh yeah. As an officer in the military, if you have financial problems, you are in danger of losing your commission.
I had no idea about that.
Yep, and the deal with the mids is you lose your commission, you get to spend 5 to 6 years in the fleet as a
enlisted
sailor. Yeah. So that became my introduction to this. Once I retired, I did a tour as a Navy, the Secretary of the Navy for Financial Management. There I learned that politicians don't have a clue about money. It's all emotional. When I retired, became a financial advisor, opened a couple of practices, and I became very frustrated at that time that the industry itself was all focused on product, and it was very analytical, and we discounted the emotional piece. And I found this fascinating because in everything else we did, in every other business, we talk emotion. But for some reason, once you handle money, you're supposed to be this adult who gets it. It has a background in math and science and gets all this stuff and doesn't screw it up. Well, how's that working out?
Yeah,
I mean, it just doesn't work that way. And then 2008, the recession was the catalyst that got me moving hard into this. Wrote my first book around that period. Wrote a second book a couple of years ago with J. Alexander Martin, one of the founders of the Fubu Corporation. He read the first book, reached out to me and said, "Ted, we got to write another book." And we basically I did a narrative of his emotional relationship with money, and we put it in the context of what I talk about in my new book. And which will be out this fall.
Okay.
So that's a long answer to a short question.
That's the problem you help solve. People and their money, humans and their money, right? Well,
to put it in a soundbite, what I try to do is make people understand that everybody is naturally wired with their unique money temperament, and you have to understand money and behavior, and then money. So financial success, is understanding and managing your natural behavior, not your money.
Okay. So let's say that you pretty much limit, your work is done with individuals primarily?
Yeah. I work business to business. I work with organizations. As a matter of fact, part of my frustration was when I was fully licensed, the regulators did not like when I was out there mixing it up. There was always an issue of compliance and things like that. And to be very candid, when I talk about scared a lot of people in the traditional financial industry because I was really complaining about the way they've done business for years. So about a year and a half ago, after I sold my practice, I said, I'm going to drop all my licenses and I'm a free agent.
Gotcha. And that's why you're such good buddies with Kurt Mueller, who we're going to have on this show soon.
Right. Well, Kurt is one of the few people I know in town that gets it. He read the book and he gets it. And I'm looking for people like Kurt that want to adopt a behavioral practice as opposed to a product practice.
Gotcha. So did I ask the question, what is the here it is. What is the common mistake that people make when trying to solve this problem without you, let's say? Common mistakes.
I think the biggest mistake is they do not understand how they're naturally wired to work with money. We have this assumption that we're all the same, one size fits all, and if I just get the right book or follow the right guru or the talking head on TV, everything will be right. Well, the problem is you may have excellent technical information. You may have a degree in finance. You might have gone back to go get school. But the reality is if you're not naturally wired to process that information, and work with money the way the guru tells you to, you're going to be miserable. Emotionally, you're not going to be able to handle it. In most cases, you're not going to follow the course. And it doesn't mean the program is not good. It just means it's not good for you. And I think the biggest problem most people have is they're not taking time to determine how they are naturally hardwired to work with money. And if you're married, have a partner, you're working with somebody else, everybody's wired a little different. So what I tell people, number one is, first, what's important about money to you? What is the value that money is important for? And it's not usually something tangible. You know, once you take care of all that stuff, it's usually a legacy, taking care of family, doing something good, giving back. Then what is your temperament? And is your temperament aligned with your values? And then does the strategy you're using support the first two?
Okay. What is something that this audience could implement today? This is going to come out in a few weeks, but today that will make a difference. That thing at the top of your mind.
If I had to say one thing about making a difference, I talk about money temperament. That's my term. It's just your feeling brain, your unconscious brain is in charge with most of your money decisions. About 95% of your spending is non-conscious and automatic. You just do it. And it hurts when you try to think about it. So if I did give somebody some advice to be a better spender today, is sit down, take a look at your calendar and your bank statement. That will tell you in absolute terms what you value most about money and time. And sometimes that's an incredibly sobering experience, because you say, I want to retire and I want to do this, but really what your value is eating out, having a new car every year, or nice clothes. I'm not saying that's wrong, but you've got to be brutally honest with yourself, and your spending patterns or your behavior will actually tell you what's important. So number one, determine what you value most in money, and it probably is not what you think it is based on your spending pattern.
Yeah.
Then sit down and figure out why you do that. That is your temperament. And that's what I write about. That's what's in the books. That's what's on my websites. And my quest right now is to help people understand how they're naturally wired with money, so they're going to be better spenders.
Gotcha. I was going to give you some feedback that doing this exercise would be sobering. That's because that's what you said, right?
Yes.
And I was going to say, who wants to be sober?
Well, it may be in your bank statement.
So from all your experience, I think I just asked you that. How can people learn more about TED and about your work? And do you have any free resource that you could send them to?
Yeah, I think the best place to get started is tedmclyman.com. That's
Can you
my
spell
personal
that?
website. Yeah, it's Ted, TEDMCLYMAN.com. That is my electronic resume, and that's where you're going to figure out really who I am and what I'm working on. And then I've got links for other things we're doing. I have on that website, I have a free course that you can sign up for.
Free is good.
Money Makes You Crazy. And it's a quick introduction to the things I talk about. There's a video on there of a webinar I did a couple of years ago based on my first book. But what I'm trying to do is get people engaged with talking about money from a different context.
Yeah.
Instead of being frustrated that nobody understands you, because they don't, because it's all in your head. Let's avoid the angst, and let's try to make the experience of spending money and saving money and being responsible with money a little bit more palatable, and we do that by aligning it with how you're naturally wired. So as a financial advisor, as a professional, most professionals tried to change you. They wanted you to be whatever their model was, what the ideal spender or financial client was. Well, in most cases, people are not wired to do what I used to do professionally. If they were, they wouldn't have to work with me.
Right.
So instead of me trying to change you, I think it's the responsibility of the client to interview the advisor to make sure they are going to be aligned with your values, your temperament, and where you want to go. And my job is not to judge. My job is to put a plan together to make it work. So let me give you another quick example.
Sure.
You may say that you want to change the world and you want to open a mission in China to help young orphans. Noble cause, great. Then I say, show me your checkbook and your calendar. And it says, I like golf, I like eating out, I like nice things. And by the way, next year, I'm going to start putting away money for retirement. Okay, fine. You're 52 years old. So I've got to have that reality check and say, listen, I don't care what your values truly are. That is up to you and where you want to go. And that's between you and whatever. However, based on what you just showed me, your value set is playing golf. I can help you play golf. You have to make a choice. You can play golf or you can have the mission in China. You will not have both. And that's a choice you have to wrestle with.
Yeah, I can help you play golf a lot more than you're playing now even.
Exactly. And I don't judge that. That's fine.
Right. That's excellent.
Goal.
Yeah. Hey, Ted, the last words are yours in this short rapid fire interview.
Well, I'm here to start changing the world. We need to change the narrative and the dialogue on money, spending, success, and financial security. My new book, which should be out later this fall. Matter of fact, we're working with the publishers right now to make sure to get this thing's out here. It's called Discover Your Money Temperament, a common sense guide to financial security. In this book, I don't talk about money once. It's all about behavior and spending patterns and all of that. And it's designed to help you get your head around how you think and feel about money. That's what's important. I'm on a quest. I want to launch an army. I want to set the country on fire, that we need to move from a product-driven approach to a behavioral-driven approach. And then not judge you because you like to be a spender. There's nothing wrong with being a spender as long as you understand that, and then you have a strategy that is aligned with your natural spending behavior, and you automatically put things away that make it difficult to spend, but take care of those things that are important in the future.
Awesome. You are a wealth of information and passion for this. And I really want to thank you for the time we spent today. People, this is going to go all over the world. So you may be getting some calls or at least some hits on your website. So Ted Mclyman, thank you for your time. You've been a terrific guest, and I look forward to staying in touch with you. And I really want a signed copy of your book. Please.
As soon as we get one, you'll
Fair
get
enough.
it. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you. Take care, Ted, okay?
You betcha.